stuff like that, and even though I've been an actor for many years, I've never actually told stories about myself. So I have a few of those to tell tonight. But before that, I had a little rather obvious lesson for my fellow singles and for myself before I came to the open mic. Rather obvious. If you have something boiling on your stove, or something that you hope to have start boiling at some time, and you decide to take a shower in order to multitask your time before you come to the open mic, make sure that in the middle of that shower you don't start practicing your 10-minute monologue that you want to do at the open mic. Because as you're in the middle of some wonderful scene that you've created for yourself and you smell something burning, your cat's not going to help you. There's nobody else there to turn the burner off, wave the smoke away, and save whatever is in your small apartment at the time. Just a word for the wise, especially if when you run to that boiling pot, throwing water on the ground, there's camera equipment underneath it. Not such a good idea. But we're safe. I'm shooting all of you fuckers tonight. Okay? So, last week I had started a little story about my grandmother and how much of an influence she has been on me for my performing. And I've been thinking about her all week long. And I realized that aside from her being one of my best friends, if not my best friend growing up, that she is really solely responsible for me loving coffee, cigarettes, diners, red hair, Chanel No. 5, and acting. It's a lot of loves there. Basically everything that I am, except for red lipstick, which I give to my mother. Thank you. So she used to pick me up from school every single day and take me to her house. If I wasn't in dance class, I was going to her house. She lived in this great cul-de-sac where her and my grandfather lived for over 60 years. I never not remember this house. And there were two rooms where these loves were cultivated. The first room was in the back master bedroom. She made my grandfather build her a vanity. And it was just like old Broadway, like two strips of bulbs right there, an old beauty like chair right there, makeup on the side, and this little tray of perfumes. I loved this vanity. It was where all the great characters that you'll soon see were made. And my grandmother, she used to make this giant joke that even though we are naturally strawberry blondes, that I would get my red hair from her because we used the same bottle of hair dye, Red Penny, absolutely. Yeah. Her and my mother actually gave me a home perm when I was 3 for my very first dance performance. I was Annie. So anything that you had to do for the sake of the role was okay in my household. That's how I got my red hair from my grandmother. And then as I used to sit down at this vanity, there were all these little perfumes and everything like that, and some of them were just horrible. They were like, some of them were really bad, like geriatric hospital smell, kill yourself smelling stuff. Other was like French Riviera, like threw up all over you. And then there was this one bottle that, funny enough, was the tallest of all these 30 little bottles. And it was black and had gold flowers all around it. It was very chic. And it was called Ombre Rose. And it smelled just like baby powder, but better than baby powder. And I loved this bottle. I loved it so much. I used to wear it all the time. And it was a total like drugstore perfume or whatever. But because I wore that all the time and it reminded me of her and my favorite place in her master bedroom, it's what, I couldn't find it anymore. Like they discontinued it. Like I said, it was a drugstore. I moved to New York. And that's when I smelled Chanel No. 5, which is just a little bit left of Ombre Rose, which is my grandmother. I will wear nothing else ever again. I love it. So, we got red hair, we got perfume, and now we have acting. What better place to become an actor than in front of a vanity at your grandmother's house? It is there where anytime that I used to look in this vanity, I loved makeup, of course. I was a dancer and a performer. And I love that when I would look in the mirror, no matter what I put on my face, no matter what I did, whenever you looked into those shining bulbs back at you, everything was perfect. Like, skin was seamless. It was like old 1950s Max Factor Hollywood gorgeous. I mean, I was 10. I don't think I had any skin problems at that time. But it was just, there was something about it that was really glowy. And anytime you looked in it, things were great. You could be anything. Awesome. Now, anytime you stepped out in a natural light, or I stepped out in a natural light after doing my makeup, it was sort of like 1950s glamour, natural light, drag queen. 1950s, gorgeous, natural light, crack hoe. Like, I mean, the light. That was the most important thing. Yeah. So, my grandmother, she was really like the actress in my family. I mean, she grew up in a small town in North Dakota, farm girl or whatever, but she was really so lovely, but really nosy, and would watch people all the time, and would love to impersonate them later on, and would get so tickled when she could make anybody laugh over her impersonations. God help you if you were the one she was impersonating, because she was spot on. So if you were a freak, she showed you. And she was just really, she was so awesome, and she would always play with me. So it was in this back, in my beauty chair, she would sit, and this is where I became a fabulous Italian hairdresser, stylist, yes. This takes me to a set of stemware glasses that my grandfather bought her in Korea when he was overseas in the war. And I loved this set of glasses. It had everything. It had like old cocktail shakers and old like champagne glasses and flutes and rocks glasses, and my favorite was the cognac snifters. Love the cognac snifters. And the whole set was kind of rather, I mean, it was really delicate and pretty and etched, but it was sort of small, abnormally small, so it was perfect for me at 10 to use as a prop as my Italian hairdresser. I used to tell her all the time, I'd be like, Nana, I love this, I love this, I want this, and she goes, Katie, which was my nickname growing up, Katie, she would say, when I die, that set is yours. You can have that when I go. And I just looked right up at her and I said, Grandma, how old are you? A very sensitive child that loved my Nana. But, you know, so. Come on, she knew, trust me, she knew. She was creating greatness. Anyway, so, that was it. Okay, so, to be continued, there's a lot more than this, and thank you very much.